Hey guys, what is up? It is me, Pagey, here once again with another video on The Flash Season 8, and this is going to be my trailer breakdown for Episode 9 for this season, otherwise entitled Phantoms. And of course, before we do anything else, let's watch this goddamn trailer.
Feels like nothing I've ever encountered.
It can appear and disappear at random, like a ghost.
Put Star Labs on lockdown. Evacuate while you still can.
It's here.
Go to hell!
So last episode was the official start of the next graphic novel. Now we don't know what the center, or like the center point, if you want to call it, or the focus, or even the name of the graphic novel is. That's been kept under wraps for a bit. I don't know if we're going to learn that before it's over, or we're going to have to wait till after it's over, but we don't know what it's focusing on or even who the villain is. The villain is a mystery, which is quite interesting, and I wonder if that's for a specific reason. Obviously, I know it's because, what's happening from the last episode and, the identity of what was doing all those things is a bit, unknown. It's being kept, hidden. I wonder if like the name of this graphic novel gives that away. Probably does, or at least hints to it. So that might be why they're doing that. But last episode saw Jacob Birchall, the Hotness, return from his first appearance in Season 4 in a much different appearance. His initial appearance in Season 4 wasn't really well received. I think it's the complete opposite. It was a complete 180, black and white, whichever way you want to put it. Very surprising, and they made us care about the character while also connecting to Barry's past and really emotional stuff. I did not expect that episode to be as emotional as it was, especially towards the end. It really caught me off guard, and based off the responses from everyone else that I saw, it caught most of you off guard as well. But of course, we had this fire meta that is killing people. At the moment, we have 2 deaths, and they're both connected to the Irish pub within Central City. So that's a big mystery that Barry has to solve. We're really, diving into like some forensic investigation and sort of crime solving and everything like that. And it's like a murder mystery. Who done it? Who did all this stuff? And what's the connections, and who are the connections moving forward as well with anyone else that's died? In that trailer, we do see one more body. So this person or this being, this thing, isn't stopping anytime soon. But of course, right at the end of the episode, we figure out there's a signature that, was connected to both of the bodies, which they found out earlier in the episode, or figured out earlier in the episode. But Team Flash's plan is to, put that into a satellite and see what they can find if it connects to anything else. So, yep, they're going to be body hunting, I'm assuming, or hopefully get to people before it can actually happen. It's going to be interesting to see what happens, and this trailer somewhat hints at where it's going to go. But of course, before we jump into the actual breakdown of the trailer, we will quickly read out the synopsis or description for the episode, as it does give us a bit more context to certain things that are happening. But of course, throughout the video, be sure to let me know in the comment section down below your various opinions, thoughts, theories, predictions, anything in regards to this, because I'm very curious to read what you guys are thinking, especially who you think is behind this. Is it someone obvious that last episode was somewhat hinting to, or is that a bit of a red herring and misdirect? I'd like to think it is, because it just seemed a bit too obvious last episode, but maybe that person is involved, but doesn't end up being the final thing, if that makes sense. It's going to be interesting to see where it goes, but let me know who you think it could be and all that in the comment section down below, because I'm always curious to read what you guys are thinking. And of course, if you're going to enjoy the video and just want to show your support and you're looking forward to this episode, why not drop a like on the video to show all that? Barry and Team Flash get closer to figuring out the fire meta, but no closer to finding him. So they say him there, which is interesting. Meanwhile, Iris, needing a distraction, follows a story to Coast City. So I wonder if they find out specifically that it is a male based off that synopsis. I know I'm just jumping ahead here, but that I didn't even realize it said him in the synopsis there. I just noticed that now while reading it out. So I wonder if they figure out an identity, or maybe they hear a voice which sounds male. Interesting. But speaking of the synopsis, just quickly before we jump into everything else, it is a shorter synopsis. It's 2 sentences. It was actually 1 sentence broken into 2 different sort of sides of the episode. And usually when it's a short synopsis, it means they're usually hiding something. So I wonder if there's actually more to this episode that they didn't want to reveal. However, it's important to remember that this synopsis did come out before episode 8, or the episode from hopefully yesterday from when you're watching this video, came out. So maybe they didn't want to spoil too much or give too much away from what potentially could happen in that episode and where it leads into this one. So maybe that's why it's short. But, the track record for the show, not just The Flash, but pretty much any TV show, is that if it's a synopsis is short, it usually means they're trying to contain spoilers. So keep that in mind. Now we start off the trailer by seeing Barry at once again another burnt body. So this is what I was meaning, and I'm sure most of you saw in the trailer when, this thing that's out there is not stopping anytime soon. Now I guess the big question is like, did they get the signature on the satellite that this thing was active again? So Barry runs there, but unfortunately it's too late. And if so, if Barry was only like a split second behind, does this really show how quickly this thing destroys people and burns people to a crisp? Because if that's the case, they are pretty damn powerful. Now, in regards to who this could be, I have absolutely no idea because, spoiler alert, they're completely burnt to a crisp down to the skeleton. Now, I was looking at the clothes and even like the necklace around there, and I couldn't really figure it out based off that. At first, I thought maybe it was that Taylor girl, that one that was working with Allegra, and I was like, hold on, let me go and look what she was wearing last episode. And like the necklace doesn't match or anything like that. So I'm not too sure if this is going to be any sort of connection. It could just be a very expendable character just made for this episode. And it could be like the opening scene of the episode if they want to do it. Like we had last episode when that Stan dude was attacked. So I'm going to assume this is just a irrelevant person that's just another victim. However, we do hear, I think it's Barry saying, it's like nothing I've ever encountered. I'm assuming it's Barry because who else would say that? It'd be weird if anyone else said it. And this is actually followed by Allegra saying that this thing like appears and disappears as it wants, as it pleases. So it makes me wonder, did Barry run into this being, if he's saying it's like nothing I've ever encountered? So maybe he gets to this location where this burnt body is and maybe sees it for a split second and then it goes away. Which I'm sure could be like a bit of a jump scare moment if they want to go, wanted to go down that route and everything like that. Because we also don't know what the motives are. Because as I said earlier, and as I clearly pointed out last episode, we had those two people at the Irish pub, which was setting up the whole Jacob Birch connection. But like, if it's not Jacob Birch, then what's the connection with the Irish pub? Or is this person just trying to set people up? Is that like the general thing? I'm sure this episode's really going to explain it. You just have that feeling that you're going to sort of learn exactly why why they're going after certain people, which would then maybe allow Team Flash to track it more properly and maybe guess the next move for what this thing is trying to do. But I must say, when Allegra does say like it appears and disappears, that's within Star Labs, during the meat and potatoes of this episode. So it seems like maybe she might encounter it and it goes away, and it seems like it could be messing with them potentially. But that does jump into the next thing and the next main thing to talk about. And that's that it seems that this being, this black flame floating smoke being, follows them to Star Labs potentially, or goes, you know what, you're annoying me, you're my next target. Or it just could be one of the things where someone within Star Labs is the next target. And you might be wondering, well, who could it be? And I was having a think, I was like, well, who could it be? And then I thought, well, hold on, who's someone that's in Star Labs, a part of Team Flash, was in last episode, was alongside Barry, who is connected to that pub, the Irish bar? Frost. Is Frost going to be a victim? I mean, she's connected to that bar. That's a high possibility. And also, you only see Frost, like, I think a tiny bit in this episode. It's like when, I think you see, like, them run into, like, the cortex, and I think you can see Frost's hair, and that's it. I think that's all you can really see from her in this episode. And this is me coming back from 30 seconds in the future. I just quickly went and scrolled through the trailer, and I'm right. Yeah, you don't see Frost really in that trailer at all. She is in some of the promo images, I'm pretty sure, which we'll go over later. I think we'll talk about it when we get there, but she's not in any of that trailer. So I do wonder whether Frost is the target, and maybe what happens here is that they have to get Frost to safety and maybe try and keep this being busy within Star Labs. That'd be pretty interesting. But in regards to this whole being, being in Star Labs, it almost feels like a horror movie. Now, Eric Wallace, the showrunner for The Flash, did say one of the graphic novels would be based in like the horror genre, which clearly is associated with this villain that is attacking people right now. So it makes sense that we get a horror-based portion of an episode. I do wonder how long it will go for. I'm assuming this is going to be like that sort of big sort of portion of the episode that starts about halfway through and goes up until about maybe like 5 minutes left in the episode. But it definitely seems like it's going to be one of the more spookier Flash episodes. And I'm excited to see how deep they go into that horror genre, because Stargirl, for example, in season 2 sort of dabbled in that. And I think they did a really good job there. So I sort of have my expectations a bit high as to what they could do here as well. Now, this is a big question that always comes about when you have someone that's just pretty much just killing, going about killing people without really any issues. And that's, is anyone in legitimate danger? I guess specifically to this episode. And I would say in regards to Team Flash, no. Like, I can't see anyone on Team Flash dying outside of the fact that if I'm right, Frost could be a target for this, you know, this flame being that's burning people. Wouldn't surprise me too much if Frost is a target there just based off everything I explained earlier. So maybe she could be in legitimate danger, but I don't see her dying or anyone dying on Team Flash. However, that does not mean that this being couldn't go around and maybe kill someone that we know or at least are like somewhat familiar with. So going, oh, okay, we've seen that person on the show and they could die. Like, for example, you know, remember that Norvok dude, the guy who has like the snake eye? He's been in that bar before. He could be a victim, for example. So they could do something like that if they wanted to and kill him. And it'd be like, oh, well, we've known him for a few seasons now and this guy's just killed him willy-nilly. That guy's expendable though, so it's not really killing anyone overly important to the show in regards to where the story's going. But we could see something like that. So someone we know could die, but it's no one like, you know, a massive character, at least for this portion of the season. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to this whole, this mysterious, like, horror-based being. I'm really curious to see how they handle on the show, because I think last episode, you know, started off really, really well, and now we're really jumping into a, you know, a contained environment in the Star Labs where, you know, Team Flash would potentially feel pretty vulnerable. Now, obviously, the synopsis does talk about Iris going away to follow a story in Coast City, not Central City. We're already in Central City, but in Coast City. I'm going to assume this is Tinyawazo because we've been saying it for so long, and the episode is called Phantoms, which obviously would be talking about like the fact that this like the smoke flame monster would appear like a phantom, but also she's Phantom Girl in the comics. But let's divert into the promo images for this episode, which we got actually a few days before this trailer came out for once. So we can actually go over them. So the first few are just the team, you know, Team Flash just working together to try and, I guess, plan for this assault that's currently going on. So they seem to be building some sort of device potentially, like Chester's sort of working. Well, actually, I think Barry's playing with like a toy that's on Chester's desk. But I think Chester's trying to put something together. It looks like a capsule maybe to contain this being. Like, you can see, I'll try and circle it on screen so I can make it clear for you to see, because it is like see-through, so you might not be able to see it too well on the screen if I don't point it out. So it seems Chester's working on that, but you can see that Chester like gets up and is all freaked out. So I wonder whether like maybe he feels something and starts to get freaked out as well. I'm not too sure, but you do see Frost here. Now, as I said, you don't really see Frost in the trailer outside of her hair at one portion. So that's why I thought that maybe she gets taken away. But this could be, once again, in the early portions of the episode before maybe she realizes she's a target or something like that. Not too sure, but she is in the promo images at the very least, even though she's hardly in the trailer. But moving on to another portion of the episode in the promo images, and something we didn't know was happening, at least in regards to this specific episode, and that's Sue Dibney is back. So this is obviously Iris, Allegra, and Sue. Now, I'm assuming this is once again at the beginning of the episode because Allegra is in the same clothes there that she's then wearing in the whole Star Labs thing. So this probably, you know, right at the beginning, Allegra goes, well, I'm going back to Star Labs, and Sue and Iris are probably going to go to Coast City. So I'm guessing that Sue maybe presents Iris with like a story lead saying, hey, there's this thing going on in Coast City, blah, blah, blah. And Iris is like, you know what? That sounds like a good story. I'll tag along. And then they go ahead and everything like that. So we knew that Sue was coming back this season. I don't know whether this is the only episode or there's more, but we knew she was coming back. It's always going to be hard to work her into the show without Ralph now. So once they made the executive decision that they weren't going to recast Ralph, which I think was probably the smart decision, it obviously put a bit of a, you know, the whole Sue thing in a bit of a pickle as well, because they obviously wanted to use the actress, but it's hard without Ralph. So they're using her in a pretty, I think this is probably the best way to use her in this type of field, you know, and connected to Iris as well. So it'll be interesting to see what it's like when they go to Coast City and what the whole thing is. As I said, I think it could be the whole Tinyawazo situation, just because we know that's been coming, and the whole episode title, and I mean, leaving Central City as well just connects to it all, you'd have to think. So yeah, looks like that's what's going to be going down. But yeah, guys, that's all to go over in regards to the trailer and the promo images. So thanks for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you did, it'd be awesome if you could drop a like on it to show support. Let me know in the comment section down below your various opinions on everything we went over. Always curious to read what you guys are thinking, especially about this whole mysterious bang thing, because it definitely has my mind ticking. And yeah, if you're new to the channel, make sure to subscribe, and I will catch you guys later. Goodbye.